Apple, the mega corporation which grows rapidly to this day, the inventor of the first smartphone, the maker of the most premium tech on the market, and now the anti-consumer brand which somehow is still the most looked up to with a cult-like following. Last week I came across this tweet from Apple Track about the new EU laws. It's saying that the EU has warned Apple about throttling charging and data speeds on third-party USB-C cables when the iPhone 15 releases. The company could face penalties if they do not comply with the law, which goes into effect on December 28, 2024. Even though this is a pro-consumer move from the side of the EU, this has made a lot of Apple fans really mad. And I personally just don't get it. Apple is a corporation that has made so much money. It is so big that the average person can't affect it in almost any way, but still, there are going to be people so obsessed with it, they're going to die to defend it. It just seems weird to me. Why do people feel so attached to a big ass corporation that can't even sense your existence? But there are answers to this. First of all, Apple has a psychological business plan, which helps them manipulate their fanbase. This guy called Dummy made an entire video breaking it down into 3 parts and discussing it in depth. I recommend you watch it, it's such a good video. But here's Apple's psychological business plan summarized. First of all, Apple makes you think that their products are perfect, we just can't ship junk, as Steve Jobs said.
I have a question actually about market share, which is sort of what we're getting at. There has been a suggestion that because of pricing and design, Apple tends to appeal to kind of a smaller elite.
Our goal is to make the best personal computers in the world and to make products we are proud to sell and would recommend to our family and friends. But I have to tell you, there's some stuff in our industry that we wouldn't be proud to ship, that we wouldn't be proud to recommend to our family. We just can't ship junk.
Apple needed to make it clear that the devices that are going to end up in people's hands are going to be perfected down to the last touch. With that and building an ecosystem that is just not convenient to leave once you're in it, Apple traps the customers and turns them into fans. From there, everything is just a domino effect. These fans, as they turn more and more, are going to normalize spending a premium to buy an Apple device. It has went so far so that now you're judged for what brand devices you use. As we can see now, students at school are being bullied for not having an iPhone. There's so many people on social media who just judge a person whether they're an iPhone user or not, whether they use a Mac, an iPad or not. I posted this on my TikTok as a joke the other day. It's about how Apple users would make fun of you for being poor, cause you got an Android phone even when it was more expensive than theirs. And oh boy was someone mad. But okay, let's see what Apple's products have to offer to be wanted by almost everyone. The most desirable Apple product by many is the iPhone. Why? Well, first of all, of course, it has the Apple branding and you know people go crazy about that. Sometimes I don't even hear arguments from the iPhone users. Mostly they just say it's Apple, you know. The people I can get more useful information from though are the tech-savvier iPhone users, which really all have the same argument. The software is easy to use, the cameras are fine, and the third-party camera app integration is essential, even though now Samsung and Google have started to do third-party camera app integration on their newer releases too. I'd say the second most desirable product from Apple are their MacBooks. MacBooks are meant for mainly productivity. They're light, and with the new M1 and M2 chip versions, they're more powerful than before. But first of all, they're expensive, and on top of that, you don't have the freedom to install anything you'd like. Most games don't run, and softwares that aren't from reputable publishers don't run as well. The third most desirable product is definitely the AirPods. You can see almost everyone having AirPods, and if you ask them why, most of them will reply that it was a safe buy even though it was expensive. It's very easy to pair it with your iPhone and they're just convenient for traveling. The fourth and definitely most useless product from Apple in my opinion is the iPad. Now, I feel like the only use case for iPads is when an illustrator/artists buy them, because it's easier to draw on a touchscreen rather than a drawing tablet. For any other use case like buying it for your toddler to watch Cocomelon on it, it's absolutely useless. But hey, I hated on Apple way too much this video, So let's list some things they do right. First of all is their ecosystem. I don't think there's another brand that does their ecosystem as well as Apple. There's a good reason they trap customers in. To leave the ecosystem, you have to give up AirDrop, syncing calls and messages, iCloud, and etc. Yes, there are alternatives like Google Drive and whatever this is, but none of them work as well as Apple's. Second of all is the way Apple implements their features, especially on iPhones. Yes, they implement them way later, but when they do, it's sure that the feature is going to work better than anyone who already did it. Apple also makes products that you won't regret buying. Usually, their products have less bugs and are more polished than their counterparts, which makes customers go with Apple knowing it's the safer choice. A lot of people would rather get an iPhone and forget about it for the next 4 years than go with the top-end Xiaomi and for some reason receive very delayed update. For example, my phone, the Poco X3 Pro, is a very good phone. It has a flagship level chipset in it and the screen is not too bad, but when it comes to software updates, it's kind of weird. I received Android 12 1 year late, and 2 weeks after that for some reason I got the Android 13. And that doesn't really matter, but compare this to Apple's update system where everyone gets their update at once. It is like a party is going down on Twitter where only Apple users are invited. And that's what brings us at the final answer to the question: why do people love Apple so much? The answer is mainly exclusivity. Apple managed to reach to the hands of customers through good products and then started to treat their products like there's something exclusive, something special, something greater than any device you'll ever find on the market.